Namaste. My name is Samata. In this video, I would like to talk to the organizers of the Dismantling Hindutva Global Hindutva Conference and share with them a few points as a practicing Hindu. So, they on their website are declaring that Hindutva is different from Hinduness. The word twa means essence. So Hindutva means essence of Hinduness. So this is like saying I support Christianity, but I don't support Christianness. I support Jews, but I don't support Jewishness. And Islam, I support Muslims, but I don't support being Muslim. So I think there is a confusion in the West amongst the Western people who seem to be interacting most with the sort of communists, declared communists, and the left liberal in India. But these are not the people who, Indians who represent the majority, right? They don't represent the practicing Hindu majority, and often their understanding is distorted. So if they have taught you that Hindutva is political, it's not. The word Hindutva means essence of being Hindu, and it has various interpretations amongst various practicing Hindus, which is why when you isolate the word and you make a conference saying dismantling it, for many of us it is something that dismantles the Hindu Dharma. So it is not our understanding or our lens that is in mistake here. It is your lens that is in error. First of all, it's wrong to use the religion as the center of a word. So if you had a problem with the Modi government, you should say dismantling Modi government. Or if you had a problem with some specific group, you should say that we don't like the ideology of the group. But you cannot take a general term Hindutva, put one meaning to it that you say is the way it has to be interpreted, and also let us notice that this is the Western lens. Impose it on us and expect us to not feel hurt about it. And a lot of us are quite hurt who practice the Hindu Dharma are hence quite hurt about the wording that is being used in this conference. So this is point number one. The second thing you're declaring on your website is that Muslims, Christians, and religious minorities are being targeted. So, this is again something that many of us in India do not feel. We come from a background of 1000 years of slavery, and around 600 700 years of it was under fairly brutal Muslim rule, and there have been many genocides. Much of this hasn't been taught to us in our text. So when you talk about a religious minority, first of all, Christians and Muslims are not religious minorities. The Christians are the world's biggest religion, and the Muslims are the number two biggest religion by numbers. So somewhere it is not authentic to call these mega organizations minorities, like tribals, like these people who are getting very few in number will lose, like maybe Native Americans. Native Americans are a minority, not Christians and Muslims. India has 200 million Muslims, yeah? That's the second largest Muslim population in the world. And the Christian missionary work, let's not even go there. So there is a false interpretation of what is a religious minority, and then there is this fake idea that that is being targeted, right? That's really not true. It's not how most of us feel. We feel that our past was hidden from us, and which is actually true. It's not being taught in our texts. And somewhere a little bit we have acknowledged the British conquest and the slavery that came with that, but a lot of the other genocides haven't even been acknowledged. So given our past and given the global situation with Christianity and Islam, which are really the world's biggest religions and have large organizations to carry out missionary work. That is, go to another country, tell them that their culture, their gods are wrong, and they have to leave, or are not shameful, and they have to leave all of that to move to these better religions, is something that's is actually the problem, yes? And to sort of posit that on Hindus is actually the opposite narrative. And let's talk about this, the third thing, and then I'm going to close this because I want to make a short video. Let's talk about the beef ban. So I think outside of, it's not something new that's just come up, right, in the last year. Outside of, I think, 2 or 3 states out of the 29 states in India, it is already banned to kill cows from our constitution. It's the nature of our country. Maybe Americans will not like to kill dogs and eat dog meat, yes, because they are emotionally tied to the animal and they can see that the animal has emotions. In the same way, Indians, we've lived with cows for a very long time, and the cow is a very loving animal. It's much more affectionate than dogs and has very deep sensibilities. It's very much less drama also with a cow. So we have a genuine sensitive longing to the animal, which is why we don't want to kill it. So to make this sensitivity, which is similar to maybe Americans not wanting to eat dogs or horses, and to make it about religion, is something that is again a mistaken, a false narrative. Yeah. So I think that sitting in the West, it's very hard to figure out what's going on in India. You need to see it with a much more neutral lens. And we also don't need a white savior, you know. First of all, white saviorism, if that's the word, has gone very badly. Look at Afghanistan. But also remember, India is the country of the Buddha and the Mahatma Gandhi. We need the world to take from us yoga and dharma, and I'm glad you all do. But we don't really need you all to teach us how to make a sane society. I'm not saying India is a sane society. I have many, many issues with it. But I don't think that we need people in American universities to teach us, yes? Especially not in such a aggressive fashion.